Hi friends! Today we're going to read a book that is a new book for me. I've never read this book before. It's one I just got, and I'm really excited to read it for the first time with you guys. It's called Sofia Valdez, Future Prez. It's written by Andrea Beatty and illustrated by David Roberts. Now you might recognize some of the artwork on the cover because Andrea Beatty has written a couple different books that you might have read, like Iggy Peck Architect or Ada Twist Scientist, but this is the newest one, Sofia Valdez, Future Prez. Sofia was a baby who got things done, helping her family before she turned 1. What is she helping her dad do? She's using a watering can to water a flower. She and Abuelo went out every week to help elderly friends around Blue River Creek who couldn't get out and about on their own and with no place to gather were stuck home alone. So they're helping deliver groceries to people who can't get out and get their groceries themselves. That's so nice of them. Take this cover off. Raking the leaves, taking pets for a walk, or just dropping by for a treat and a talk. Sofia Valdez did as much as she could for her family and friends and her whole neighborhood. A dreamer, a doer, a real-life go-getter. Most people like good, but Sofia liked better. Now what is she helping to do? She's walking all of those dogs. Let's count how many dogs she's walking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, that's a lot of dogs to walk at one time. Oh, this page, some of the writing is not all in one area. It goes around the page, so I'm gonna have to turn the book. Each morning, Abuelo walked Sophie to class. They walked home again along Blue River Pass, making plans, munching cookies, Abuelo and a girl, except for that Tuesday when Pup saw the squirrel. With a howl, Pup took off, racing all through the town, over, under, beneath, and around. Sophia scrambled to try to keep up with the hollering man and the bellowing Pup. Up the squirrel ran to the top of a hill made of leftover junk for the local landfill. They reached the tip top of that mountain of trash, which jiggled and broke with an ear-splitting crash. Oh no, look at that big pile of trash. Down they all tumbled and hit with a thud on a moldy old pumpkin surrounded by mud. Ouch, cried Abuelo. He struggled to stand. A dangerous mess, he said, grasping her hand. The next day, Sophia walked to school solo, but it wasn't the same without her Abuelo. This is not right, declared young Sophia, who glared at Mount Trashmore and got an idea. The very next morning, at half-past dawn, she planted a sign at the front of the lawn. She stood back and smiled, and Pup gave a bark. Right, let's see what the sign says. It says, "Get rid of Mount Trashmore. Let's build a new park." So Sophia wants to get rid of that big pile of trash that's in her town and instead build a park. I think that sounds like a lot nicer idea than a pile of trash, don't you? Each of her neighbors had something to say about benches and fountains and places to play, meeting spots, gardens, a basket for bees, a rubber duck pond, and a kiosk for cheese. She drew every thought on her map of the park, which was perfectly perfect by 1/4 till dark. So a lot of the people in her neighborhood that she lives with have a lot of ideas of what they want to see at the park. She drifted to sleep in her soft, cozy bed. Then, bam, she woke up when a thought smacked her head. Her heart skipped a beat as she realized each one of her neighbors had said, "Let me know when it's done." They all thought Sophia could build it alone, but how could one girl do so much on her own? So a lot of them have ideas of what they want at the park, but none of them said they were willing to help Sofia. Is it easy to do something all by yourself when it's such a big project? I think that's what Sofia's worried about. The weight of that thought made her tender heart ache as night thunder growled and she lay wide awake. Then dawn brought a storm and the gloomy sky wept, and the heart-sick Sofia finally slept. Abuelo baked cookies when Sophie got up. He gave her a bagful and sneaked one to Pup. He blinked back a tear as he hugged his Sofia. For courage, he whispered, Te amo, mi vida. Sophia's knees wobbled. She felt weak inside. She looked at his ankle and quite nearly cried. Though she didn't feel brave or courageous at all, Sofia Valdez went to face City Hall. So I think Sophia's feeling a little bit nervous about trying to take this on by herself to build the new park, but she's using a lot of courage and bravery, and she's going to go to the City Hall to see what she can do about building the park. Right, there she is at City Hall. There's Sofia and there's the building. City Hall is where a lot of people work that make big decisions for the city, like grown-ups work there. The mayor's office sent her to room 401, the Blue River Creek Department of Fun, which sent her downstairs to room 302, the office of duck ponds and cool things to do, to the office of monkeys, the department of cheese, the division of fountains and meetings and bees, then down to the basement so musty and cramped, where all the town's papers were sorted and stamped. And that's where the clerk said what no one else said. You can't build a new park. You're only a kid. Oh, so Sofia was really hoping that she could help build this park, and she was working really hard to try and plan it, but someone told Sofia, you're only a kid. You can't build a park. How do you think Sofia's feeling now? The word smacked Sofia deep down in her heart. Her plan was kiboshed before it could start. Said Sofia, I think that law's wrong. But her second grade voice didn't sound very strong. The clerk said clearly, it cannot be done. Do you have any questions? Sofia said, 1. If you were me and I was you and he was your grandpa, well, what would you do? Well, said the clerk. Then she said nothing at all. She thought and she thought. Then she sent out a call to every employee throughout City Hall. So Sofia didn't give up, even though people told her she couldn't do it because she was such a kid, or because she was just a kid. It was really important to her. And she said, you know what, I'm going to stand up for this because I know it's important. The entire government of Blue River Creek crammed into the office to hear Sophie speak, but her words jumbled up and her cheeks turned bright red as a dozen emotions rushed into her head. Her heart beat so loudly she thought it would crack. The crowd leaned in closer. Sofia leaned back. Then her arm brushed the edge of the old cookie sack, and that was the moment when Sofia first knew being brave means doing the thing you must do. Though your heart cracks with fear, though you're just in grade 2. Sofia is being so courageous. She took a deep breath, looked the mayor in the eye, and though her knees wobbled, she held her head high. Sofia started talking. She spelled out her plan and why it all mattered and how it began. And once she got rolling, she had lots to say about meeting spots, monkeys, and places to play, and other ideas for things they could do to help the town elders and other folks too. She had thoughts on the library, thoughts on the zoo, and perhaps a way to combine the two. And all right, cried the mayor, go start a petition. If the town wants a park, we'll form a commission. And so young Sofia got right to work with some help from her family and pup and the clerk. Then others joined in, not all, but a few, like Miss Lila Greer and the kids in grade 2. So they're holding up some signs that are saying what they are wanting. So it says, get rid of Mount Trashmore. We need more green. Si se puede, which means yes, we can. Somewhere that's green. Architects for parks. A park to think in. Sign our petition, please. Give bees a chance. Scientists need parks. Wow, so now Sofia has a lot of friends that are there to help her. There were hearings and surveys and taxes to figure, the bulldozers, cranes, and a blue, bigger digger. They all built that park, that's how it got done, with the hard work of, by, and for everyone. But it began with the dream of one person, just one, who laced up her shoes and then led the way to help Blue River Creek get a new place to play. Now every evening till long after dark, the town comes together at Citizens Park. They all hold this truth to be self-evident, that Sofia Valdez could grow up to be president. Until then, Sofia, that real-life go-getter, helps Blue River Creek get better and better. So friends, this is such an important book that we should remember what it said, is that even if something's hard and if it takes a lot of bravery and a lot of courage, you can do it. Even if you're the only one who believes what you believe in, if you are courageous, you can do it. Be brave. Bye, friends.